Namaste and welcome. We're delighted to be with you today to talk a little bit about spiritual essentials. Now, what we mean by that is that everybody walks a similar path, and that path begins within what we call density, begins within the soup of ego-based living, and we begin to walk into a more spiritual alignment. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of when. And everybody gets the call for that at a different time.
Very true. And you know, a lot of people often say, well, how do I keep going? You know, the purpose of this video is to offer you 6 spiritual essentials. And these really are the essentials, which, you know, my heart reaches out to you and says, if you're serious and you're willing, you're saying, okay, you know what, I'm ready. I'm really serious. Enough of this 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Enough of this, I feel great one day and crappy the next.
Or dancing from one teacher or one teaching to the next to the next.
Yes. So why are you confused? Why are you still seeking? What are you looking for? Maybe you're not. Maybe you're here going, what are the 6 spiritual essentials? So let's give these to you, because these are the 6 spiritual essentials that in our many, many years together, in the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that we've worked with, these are the things that we've learned that really matter most as far as levels of spiritual expansion that you're wanting for your journey. And the key is, it all begins with asking yourself the question, what am I sincerely willing to do about my path of enlightenment and ascension? And am I willing to really commit to it? Most people are weekend spiritualists.
Yeah. Most people dabble a bit because, as we have shared many times, the ego is the source of fear, but the ego is also the vehicle for dancing in the world.
And you know, if you haven't connected with our video, 2015 through 2022, Ascension Energies of Interference, go check with that one, because it'll explain a lot of that. So for today, let's talk about these 6 spiritual essentials. Number one, this is it. This is the number one thing. Find a teacher or path that resonates with you and commit for a full year, meaning that you're going to minimize all other influences. And it doesn't matter who it is, what it is, but find that primary teacher path that resonates with your heart, that when you connect, you feel good. When you connect, you're left feeling well. And that's why go check out our interference energy video, because that'll help you discern that. And it doesn't mean that you can't look at other things. It means that you allow yourself to stay focused on this journey for a full year.
You're trusting the path of choice, and even when life gives you some friction, you stick with it.
Right. You know, a lot of times people are on their way, they feel great, and then other people send them emails, read this, check this, do this, do this. Be discerning. Stay committed for 1 full year and watch the miracles that come forward in your life. Okay, number 2. Do something every single day to remind you that you are not this body and that you are not this illusion, and find a simple practice. Now, one of the practices we always suggest to people is the mantra of self-ascension. It is a very easy mantra. It's 4 lines. It's, I am here, I am ready, I am open, guide me. I am here, I am ready, I am open, guide me. That's a very simple practice, a very simple mantra. What's yours? What would you like to call forward for yourself?
Having a practice or 2 that helps you align with your chosen path will help you navigate all of the turbulence in life. That's the purpose of practice.
And it's about keeping it simple and easy. If you say, well, I'm going to meditate every day, and then 3 days later you haven't taken time to meditate, or you feel like you're
I'm too busy, there's not enough time, stresses.
Or you don't feel you're successful meditating, is that really practicing something every day? And this is why we invite people to begin with the mantra of self-ascension. It takes a second. You bring a hand to your heart, you connect. I am here, I am ready, I am open, guide me. There's a lot in those 4 words. So again, where would you like to begin? But you've got to pick something simple that you can stick with and do every day. All right, number 3, if you want to be free, if you want to expand, if you want to enlighten, then the bottom line is you need to eat light. And the reality is, and I know some of you are going to go, no, you need to be vegetarian at the very minimum, and perhaps graduate into vegan, and maybe eventually you want to go raw. Shri and I are vegan, and that serves us very, very well. The reason we share this with you is, if you eat something that's filled with fear, you are filled with fear. If you eat of light, you are filled with light. Now, we want to stop right here, because a lot of people write and they go, you can transmute anything. You can add energy to anything. The answer is, yeah, you can. However, you're taking energy from the Enlightenment ascension force to transmute a lower frequency. No matter what animal you decide to eat, that animal died in fear and terror. It doesn't matter. That's the energy that went into the tissues of that animal, and you're eating the tissue. And so regardless of what you do with it, you're going to have to figure out a way to transmute that energy, plus it congests the physical form at a time when we're trying to enlighten. We're not passing judgment if you eat meat. We're just saying that this is a spiritual essential.
It makes it harder.
It makes it much harder, and you'll find that you won't be as complete in your progression. And again, go look at that interference energy video, because a lot of ego wraps around what we eat, when the reality is that, Shri and I are vegan. You can tell we are not starving. We are not this thin. We are not unhealthy. We're extremely healthy. We've moved through a lot of things. So gift yourself perhaps with enlightening through what you eat. Okay, so this brings us to number 4, which is a big one. You must let go of victim consciousness. Wow. And remember, that's a huge one, because victim consciousness is really how most people operate. And the only way you can do that is to be 100% honest with yourself and take self-responsibility.
Victim consciousness is the stuff that TV shows are made out of. And so remember that we are each empowered creators.
Exactly.
And as we realign our consciousness with that truth, everything falls into place.
Maybe stop watching some of the reality shows, because the reality they're showing is staged by love. It's not reality, yet it perpetuates victim consciousness, because it's very easy to control people when they're in victim consciousness. So again, you just have to get honest with yourself and let go of victim consciousness. Leads us to number 5. And it really ties into number 4. Eliminate interactions with people who tear you down and limit your growth. Who are you hanging out with? When you interact with them, do you feel better or less about yourself? Every interaction is important, because why do you constantly beat yourself up? If you really want a spiritual essential, then you might have to be with yourself. You might find a whole new group of friends. You might find a great new group of people to hang out with that are ready to support you. But the reality is that sometimes it begins right in our own home, and it takes strength. This is one of the most challenging things. And again, the question is, what are you willing to do to become enlightened?
Learning to set boundaries, learning to just step away from situations that pull you down. That's a primary skill.
Exactly.
Practice it.
We call it remove your partners in pain. When you're with someone, do they really empower your victim consciousness? Do they, oh, poor baby, yes, you're right to do this? Or do they help empower your ascended consciousness? A big step, and again, a spiritual essential. And it brings us to the absolute last one, which is keep saying yes, especially when your ego says no. And it actually brings you all the way back to number 1, which is find a past spiritual teacher and take a year and commit.
So number 6, what we're talking about is tenacity.
Yes.
When you say yes to your path, even when all your friends say, no, you're crazy, or circumstances in the world just aren't validating your dream about the path, stay with it. That's how we get through the dark night of the soul.
Exactly, and that's what we were going to talk about, is that if you really stay that 1 year committed and you follow through with these 6 spiritual essentials, there's going to be a moment during the year where you want to quit. There'll also become a moment during the year where you might lash out at that spiritual teacher, or you might lash out at that pathway and say, oh, this is wrong, because your ego is so close. It's when you're right there. Shri and I have witnessed so many people who were right at the precipice, and that's when they blew up. Because you need to remember that a true spiritual teacher will not give you anything that will cater to your ego. A true spiritual teacher will invite you to get clear through a tantrum versus tell you what you want to hear to keep you aligned with them. There are many, many spiritual teachers out there that are very well known and very successful because, quite frankly, my angels, they're telling you anything you want to hear because they want your money, they want you, they want everything they can. They want their own personal fame, their own personal glory. A true spiritual teacher holds that. My first spiritual teacher many, many years ago was Paramahansa Yogananda. And one of the things that I learned from Paramahansa Yogananda, I actually learned through his sharing about his time in the ashram and about how many people left because his guru was so firm and so what people perceived as cruel because he loved them so much that he would not accept them being less than who they truly are. Look for that in a true spiritual teacher, one who loves you enough to support your true growth and is willing to let you walk away so that you can continue learning. There are many who walk away, and we've certainly experienced that, many who walk away that come back when they are ready to truly grow and understand that gift. Give yourself that gift. Follow through with these 6 spiritual essentials and let your life be incredible. The universe is supporting you. The world is supporting you. We are in a 7-year portal of expansion. Now is the time, and when you decide, the essentials are waiting.
Now indeed is the time. Say yes to yourself.